Let's continue our introduction to POPs by starting to look at particle collision behavior. So as always, this project file will be available on Patreon. If you'd like to grab it, you can do so on there. But I've got a grid set up here. I'm just going to use this as our emitter. So I'm going to change their size down to be a 2x2. I'm also going to move it up a little bit in the Y just so that we have some particles kind of being spawned up in the air so that they can fall down. So let's drop down our pop net. Let's dive inside. And as I said, we're going to have some particles just fall down. So I'm going to drop down a gravity and we can wire that in after our pop solver. And if I press play, you can see that our particles are just falling straight down here. So let's set up our collider. First of all, we need to create some geometry. So let's jump out and drop down a sphere. Take a look at this sphere. I'm just going to increase the scale just a little bit. Something like that should work. Set this to be a polygon and just increase the frequency there. You can use whatever object you want, but let's drop down a null after this. And we're going to call this out collider. That way we can just point to this null and use this as our collider. And that way, if we want to change our collider, we can just wire whatever we want into this. So let's jump back into our PopNet. And in order to set up collisions, let's move this pop object out of the way. Let's drop down a merge. We're going to wire this in after our pop object, and let's drop down a static object as well. So the static object is going to be our actual collider. So let's come to this SOP path. Let's open that up and just set that to be that collider that we just created. And we have some different settings here, but if I press play, you can see that we're already getting the behavior that we were looking for. So particles are bouncing off here, and we can change their behavior with a couple of different settings here. So we have air bounce. So if I set this to be 0, you can see that they're just going to fall and kind of stick to our object here. That's because of this friction. So if I set this to be 0 and press play, you can see that they're kind of falling all off now. Sort of like you'd see like water just rushing off of an object as it hits it. So we also have our collisions here. So we have this collisions tab. If I go ahead and select this collision guide, you can see that we have this collision guide that pops up. That's what this blue is. If I change this color to, pink or whatever, you can see that we get that changed. But let's just, whoops, set that back. And we have our uniform divisions here. This is kind of like the resolution of our actual collider geometry. So if I set this up to like 100, you're going to see that this much more closely reflects the shape of our sphere there. If I were to set it down lower to like 10, can't really see what's going on, but it is going to not be as refined of a shape as we would have at a higher value. So if you're not getting the collision behavior that you're looking for, some kind of particles just kind of bouncing off in spots where they're not supposed to be, then you may want to play around with your uniform divisions. This would be one thing that I would look towards. But we actually don't want to just wire in geometry and use that as our collider. So let's jump back out here. The reason that we want to do this is because we want to set up a SDF, which is going to be more accurate. So we're going to do VDB from polygons. And I'm just going to change our voxel size here to be just a little bit higher resolution. Now we can dive inside, and because we've already had this right into our null, that is just going to update because we're looking at this, not our sphere. So we have our object now being pulled in as an SDF, and that's going to give us a lot more accurate collisions and a lot better collisions. So you definitely want to use SDFs. That's going to be the method that you want to use when using any sort of colliders in your simulations. So let's come to our pop object here. Let's select our geometry, and you can see that we have a number of attributes that are being created when we first have our objects or our particles collide. They're actually generated from the start, but once particles start to hit, they get updated to reflect the different values. So there's a number of different things here. There's lots of different attributes that get created by default, and they're all useful for different things. You can use them to do a variety of different things, and we'll start to look at more advanced particle behavior once it's colliding. And future videos. But for right now, you just need to know that these exist. And if we come to our pop solver, we can come to this collision behavior, and we have this add hit attributes. If I uncheck that, you can see that all of those disappear. So if I check that again, all of them come back. You can also disable ones that you don't want. If you want to do, if you only want to have a number of these, you don't want to have them all enabled, you can disable whichever ones that you don't want. You can also color your hits and select a group to add them into once they collide. So if I press play here, you can see they're going to be colored once they actually hit our object here. Now we can also set them to die once they hit our object. So they're just dying. We can set them to stop, which is going to set their stopped attribute just to 1, I believe is how that works. Yep, stopped, set to 1, which actually is a attribute that you can set on pretty much any of the solvers inside of Houdini. You can set this to stopped, and that forces the object to stop simulating, basically. So we can set this to stick or slide as well. Let's take a look at those. You can see stick, they are stuck. Adds that attribute. If we set this to slide, you can see kind of what happens there. Some different behaviors that are generated with that. So let's set that back to unchanged, and let's take a look at one other thing. So let's jump back out and let's come. I'm actually going to just bypass this VDB from polygons, and I'm going to just add in an expression here that's going to move our object around. So we'll do sine of $FF. We'll put ×4 as well, just to make it go a little bit quicker. So if I take a look at our collider, the reason I disabled the VDB from polygons in this situation is because this is going to take some time to actually calculate. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to disable that, but I would, cache this out if I was actually doing a, simulation here. Now we have our object moving up and down. So let's jump back to the start here. Take a look at our PopNet. If I press play, you can see that we don't have anything actually happening with our collider, and that's because we need to come back to our static object, and we need to come up and select use deforming geometry. So now if I press play, you can see that our object is going to move up and down, and our particles continue to collide with our object as it moves up and down. So that is pretty much the basics of setting up collision behavior inside of your pop solvers. Now, obviously we can do much more advanced things with this, and we'll take a look at some things that we can do with this collision behavior as well. But just to get you started, this is how you actually set up your collisions. And I encourage you to go through and take a look at all of these attributes, think about what you can do with them, and maybe mess around with doing some various things with them as well. But we will look at, like I said, more advanced collision behavior in the future and future videos. Anyways, hopefully this has helped you out. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.